Hi everyone. So in our previous video, we have covered what are the topics we are going to cover in this Python series. So here there are the list of topics which we are going to cover in this series. And our first topic is language fundamentals. So today we are going to discuss on language fundamentals. So before learning Python, everyone have question like why Python? Because in industry we have lot of other programming languages like Java, C, C++, Golang, and so on. There are a lot of programming languages in the industry market currently using. But why Python? But why Python is trending nowadays, and why people are wanted to learn Python is it is being beginner friendly language, because everyone who is ready to learn Python, they can understand this language easily, because the syntax and the naming conventions in Python are like English language. So by seeing the code, we can understand what is the code is going to happen, unlike Java and C++. So that's why Python is considered as a beginner friendly language, and it is easy to understand. Like it is like written in a normal English language. Suppose if we want to print an item, we will write like print. Just we will write print. Instead of writing printf, everything in another language, like we will write only print. Okay, like that. It is like whatever the syntax that is in our Python program is like the direct naming conventions which we use it in the daily basis. So for print is the keyword. And coming to another, easy to maintain. So it is easy to maintain. Python is easy to maintain and consisting code and rich in libraries. So Python is an open source language. Python is open source. What is open source? If a software is considered as an open source, that means there is lot of people like you, me, and everyone in this world can contribute their code to this software. So if now I want to extend the functionality of a Python code, I can write my own code and I can submit my own code into this source. So open source and the rich libraries. So number of people around the world are contributing their code to the Python. So it consists of rich libraries, and for every task there is lot of coding modules and libraries present in the Python. So what is the official website of Python? It is python.org. So this is the official website of Python. So we will see how Python .org will look like. We will see here. So I am going to launch the python.org. So here you can see this is the official website of our Python. Here you can see the about Python downloads. So here you can see what is the latest version of the Python now, 3.10.0. This is the latest version of the Python. So we can download the Python from here by clicking on download, or we can choose the operating system which we require, and we can download the versions here. If you want to download the earlier versions, we can go to the view the full list of downloads. Here you can see there is lot of versions here, the previous versions. So here you can see the versions is there. So 2.7, 2010, 3.6, 2016, 18, 19, 20, 21. So these are all are the versions of the Python, and the latest version is 3.10.0. So the main interesting feature in Python has like documentation. A proper documentation is available. So for everything which we want to know about the Python, there is a proper documentation here. How tutorials is there, installing Python modules is there, libraries, languages, setup, usages. So for everything there is a proper documentation for this Python. So see, there is a jobs. So here some companies will list their job domains. Here job hosting here. This is a remote job, South Africa, USA. So companies from around the world will showcase their job opportunities here. And see, there is so many sponsors here: Slack, Salesforce, Google, Red Hat, Bloomberg, Microsoft Azure. So there are a lot of sponsors. So now we can understand what is an open source is. So there is everyone can contribute their work to a software. So here is a community. So this is the Python community where events happen, news, success stories, and every details of the Python. Coming back to our topics. Okay, why Python? So now you understand, right? What is Python? Why Python is used like that? So now I will tell like next what we are going to discuss, like who introduced Python or who developed Python. So I can say like Python was developed by Van Rossum. Van Rossum. Who developed Python? Python was developed by Van Rossum in the year 1989. Okay, in the year 1989, Van Rossum developed the Python, and from when it is available for the public. So in 1991, Feb 20th. So in 1991, Feb 20th, Python was made available for the public. So the people can use this programming language. From 1991, the people are starting to use this Python programming language. So Python is recommended as the first programming language for the beginners. Why Python is preferred as first programming language for the beginners? Because see, suppose in Java, if we want to print hello world, we have to use like public class, so and so, hello world, main, string, args, SOP, hello world, like that. And if in coming to the C, we have to write like void main or print hello or like that. But coming to the Python, we can just, instead of writing all these syntaxes, public, void, we are just skipping out everything and just we are writing like print hello world. So Now you can understand what is the difference and why it is considered as a first programming language for the beginners. So it is simple and easy to write and learn. Okay. Now we will see next. So where we are going to use the Python. So where this Python is going to use for developing desktop applications. In the sense, what are the applications we are using in our desktop, we can develop by using Python. Web applications, the web related applications, whatever the applications that are related to web, that also we can develop with the Python language. And developing database applications. So databases, you know, right? Databases which are used to store the data in table format like rows, columns. So that applications we can develop by using Python. And network programming, developing games, and data analytic applications. So data analytical applications, so like visualization tools, BA, business analytics. In analytics nowadays, this business analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence are the booming technologies where we can use Python. Because of this machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analysis, nowadays most of the people are learning Python. And here we can see this is also used for IoT and GUI applications. What is IoT? IoT is nothing but Internet of Things. Internet of Things, that means the devices which are connecting. So the devices which are connecting with the internet are for IoT. And GUI, graphical user interface. So these are all the applications and where we are using Python. Okay. Internally, Google and YouTube use Python coding. NASA and network stock exchange applications developed by Python. Top software companies like Google, Microsoft, IBM, Yahoo are using Python. So now you can understand more why the people are going to learn Python. Okay, and coming to some limitations. So we can see in every programming languages there is some limitations, right? In the same way in Python language also there are some limitations are there. So there are some limitations in Python. Also there are some drawbacks. Limitations is nothing but drawbacks. So what here it is saying, like for mobile based applications Python is not recommended. Why Python is not recommended for mobile based applications? Because there is a lot of drawbacks while considering in the mobile based applications. Low performance as it is an interpreted language. Low performance as it is interpreted language. What is means? What is interpreted? Interpreted is nothing but we are not required to compile the code. Like C++ and Java, in Python we are not going to compile the code. So we will write the code. See, we will write the code and run the code in Python. In Python we will write the code and run the code. These are only the two steps in Python. There is no in between compile. Compile option is not there in Python. So what it is happening in other languages, after writing the code it will compile and see whether there are some any errors or not. After that we will run the code and we will get the program, satisfy the code which we have written. But in Python after writing the code, we have to run the code. After running the code, it will show the error. So in Python, it is a drawback that after running the code, the errors will come at the runtime. So the errors will come at the runtime. So it is totally depending upon the Python user who is writing the code. So whenever a person is writing the Python code, he has to eliminate those errors without reflecting at the runtime. Okay, coming next, features of Python. Simple and easy to learn. As I earlier told, it is a simple and easy to learn language. Python is simple programming language. When we read Python, we can feel like reading English statements. The syntax are very simple and only 30 plus keywords are available in Python. So we can reduce development and cost of the project. Coming to the freeware and open source. I already told what is open source, right? And freeware. What is freeware? We can use Python software without any license. So freeware is nothing but we don't require any license. License is not required. So to use Python, we don't require any license. It is freeware and open source. The source code is open for all. That we can customize based on our requirement. Okay. There is a lot of research is happening on in customizing the Python code. Coming high level programming language. Hence it is Python friendly language. Being a programmer, we are not required to concentrate on low level activities like memory management and security. So Python will take care of memory management and security. Memory management and security will take care by Python. What is Python independent? So platform independence. Once we write a Python program, it can run on any platforms without rewriting the code once again. What it means? You can simply copy this code and paste it here. In the sense, see, if you are copying this Python code in Java or any other interpreters or IDEs, so how we are going to copy paste this Python code while running on another programming languages is while we are copy pasting, Python have virtual machine. Python have inbuilt virtual machine which will take care of the code conversion. So Python virtual machine will convert the Python code to the another programming languages. So we are not required to rewrite the Python code into the another machine. So that is considered as platform independent. Coming to the portability. Portability in the sense, so portability in the sense Python programs are portable. We can migrate from one platform to another platform very easily, and Python program will execute the same results in any platform. What is meant by dynamically typed programming language? In Python, we are not required to declare. In Python, as I earlier told, we are not required to specify the type of the data or variable. Whenever we assign a value based upon the type, will be allocated automatically. In the sense, see, if I am allocating a equal to 5. So if I print type of a, it will automatically show as int. How it is showing like int without specifying it is like a equal to int of 5? In the sense, Python will identify the type of the data dynamically. So identifying the type of data without mentioning is called dynamically typed program. Coming to the next feature, that is procedure and object-oriented programming language. Python language supports both procedure-oriented. What are procedure-oriented languages? Procedure-oriented languages are like C and Pascal. So these are all languages that are procedure-oriented programming languages. And coming to the object-oriented, these are the latest one that are object-oriented programming languages like what are object-oriented programming languages? C++, Java, and our beautiful Python. So Python is both procedure and object oriented. It has some functionalities of procedure oriented and object oriented. Coming to the interpreted. What is this interpreted feature? Interpreted means we are not going to compile the code explicitly. Internally, Python will take care of the compilation. So I told right, we will write and run the code. There is no compiler in Python. Extensible. We can use any another programming in Python. The main advantage of this approach are we can use already existing non-Python code and we can improve the performance of the application. In the sense, extensible means we can run another programming languages in the Python. What is embedded? Embedded in the sense we can embed a Python program anywhere. Python program can be embedded, so it will be embedded in anywhere. In the sense, Python program in any other language programs. Extensible libraries. So it is an open source. I told Python is rich in inbuilt libraries. So there is many libraries, many inbuilt libraries that will make our life easy while performing the tasks by using these libraries in day life using Python languages. Because of its open source, lot of people are introducing or adding libraries functionalities to the Python. And coming to next, Python versions. Already I showed in the python.org. I already showed when and what are the versions, like 2.3.1 versions in the Python, right? So we will have a brief history when and from where this Python is developing and the versions are going. So Python 1.0 version was introduced in January 1994. So Python first version was introduced in January 1994 and second version is introduced on October 2000. So in a 6 years gap, the second version of the Python was introduced. And coming next, version 3.0. So 3.0 is coming after 8 years. After 8 years, in December 2018, Python 3 version is introduced, and from 2008 to till now the third version is going on, and the current version is 3.10.0. Current version of Python is 3.1.0. Okay, so this is the introduction of Python and the concept of language fundamentals. So here I will repeat what are the concepts we have covered. Here is what we have covered in today's video. We have covered the introduction. So we have covered the introduction of the Python programming language. We have covered introduction of Python. Introduction we have covered features of Python. We have covered limitations. We have covered limitations. We have covered features. We have covered versions of Python. We have covered history of Python. We have covered, and what we have covered. So in this video we have covered introduction, features, limitations, versions, and history of Python. Okay, so we will continue the next video. We will continue our Python series in the next video. So in next video we are going to cover identifiers. So what are identifiers? A name in a Python program is called identifier. So in depth we will cover the concept of identifiers in our next video.